Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. Well, as we all know, since we've been in the United States interacting with white people, every time they get mad about something, every time something comes up, they tell you what? You need to go back to Africa. You need to go back to Africa. So that's been a sore spot for many black people, myself included, given the fact that we know how this country was formed in the first place. We came here, we were brought here, in fact, against our will, and now we're supposed to go back to a place that we've never been to and don't know anything about and wouldn't know where to start going back to look for our roots until recently. So recently, African nations have started opening their doors and welcoming Black Americans and other members of the African diaspora to come to Africa. Ghana has become like the homecoming headquarters for Black Americans or those of us whose family members were brought out in slave ships. So it's a big thing now, going to Africa, going to Africa. In fact, one of my nieces that lives in Atlanta said that's the big thing now, going to Africa. They are going to Africa. Going to Africa in December, I think, is a ritual for Africans, actual Africans who migrated to the United States, because apparently they have some big festivals in West Africa during December. I don't know. If somebody knows, you can tell me about it. But anyway, that's a big thing now, going to Africa. And not just West Africa, South Africa, East Africa, Central Africa too, I guess. Because many are going to Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Uganda. So all of Africa is just like, a new playground for many Black Americans. If you don't want to go, I don't need to know that. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the ones who are interested in going. So, anyway, going to Africa is a big deal now for many Black Americans. And on top of that, some of the African nations now are making it easier for members of the diaspora, African diaspora, to become citizens. That's the big thing now. We need to become citizens of Africa. So that's playing out in America and maybe even in the Caribbean. Many Black Americans and Caribbeans are going to Africa for vacations, to buy land. Some are settling permanently in Africa. And it's got to be a thing now for many, for many. But another problem has arisen and is starting to make Black Americans angry at some of the African nations. White folk been telling black folk to go back to Africa for 400, 500 years. You need to go back to Africa. Okay, so now that black people are going back to Africa, booking flights on airplanes to stay on the airplane for 14, 15 hours, guess who's on the airplane? White folks. Black people can't even get booked, black folk can't even get comfortable on the airplane because there's so many white folks packed in. And have the nerve, some black people say, the white folk got the nerve to ask them what they're going to Africa for. And like, what you going for? That's the question. What you going for? So anyway, it's gotten to be a thing. Black Americans complaining about white people taking up so many of the seats on the airplanes going to Africa and then getting to Africa and then white folks over there in the way. So, black folks are talking about it. Folks are talking. People are talking. So in November, 2 months ago, in November 2024, Ghana granted 524 members of the African diaspora citizenship. President Nana Akufo-Addo has welcomed 524 members of the African diaspora to Ghana, urging them to unite and contribute to the country's development. His historic swearing-in ceremony forms part of the Beyond the Return program launched in 2019 to mark 400 years since the first African was taken to America. The program aims to reconnect Ghana with its shared heritage and strengthen diaspora engagement. Yes, because they need the engagement. They need the money, they need the skills, they need what the African diaspora has to offer Africa. And it's not just Ghana. All of them would benefit from just our knowledge of the West, I think, because the West is the problem. Some people think. This move is a significant step towards reunifying Africans on the continent with their brothers and sisters in the diaspora, a vision President Akua-Addo outlined in Washington, D.C. in 2018. Honorable Minister for the Interior Henry Quarte congratulated the new citizens and advised them to respect and abide by Ghana's laws and the 1992 Constitution. Well, we certainly hope that they will abide by the Constitution. What's the point of becoming a citizen of a country if you're not going to follow their laws and abide by their Constitution? So we wish them the best in their new country with their new citizenship, which is what they wanted. And also, several celebrities became citizens, including Yandi and Mendices of, one of those reality shows. So this is all well and good for Ghana and for the diaspora members who want to become citizens of Ghana. Now, where the problem comes in is that white people are also becoming citizens of African nations. Somebody, I believe one of the content creators said that 300 white people became citizens of Ghana. Now, what the black Americans are saying is, why are white people over here becoming citizens of African countries? They've been telling black people to go back to Africa, go back to Africa. Then you go back to Africa, you become a citizen of Africa, and then there they are. I don't think that is an unfounded concern that black people have, because how did these countries become colonized in the first place? White people running over there claiming to be missionaries, claiming to be their friends, and then the next thing you know, they're pulling guns on them and taking over their resources, knocking down buildings, burning libraries, and destroying their leadership. And now they're in charge. So I don't think that the black people are being unreasonable. And I think it should be a cause for concern that when I was in America, you were telling me to go back to Africa. Now I'm back in Africa, and here you are. So, I mean, y'all let me know what you think about this, because I don't think that the people who really want to live in Africa, there are black Americans who have been traumatized by this American system. Now, I have always said that even in the slavery system and the after slavery system, some of us handled it better than others. Some people have not handled being in these Western societies well. Some of our people have been imprisoned for little or nothing, and they just don't navigate the system the same. Everybody doesn't have the same amount of resilience. Everybody doesn't have the same level of understanding. And it's good for them to be in an environment where they don't feel like they stick out like a sore thumb. So I understand them wanting to go to Africa, but I also understand them not wanting to deal with white people after they get there. Now, some of us, we probably won't ever move to Africa, but I suspect that more of us will be going than not. Just out of curiosity. Many of us will be going, and maybe not to stay, because some of us do okay here. We do okay here, but just about every black person that I know that has been to Africa has been changed in some way. It's the emotional feeling of belonging, of being able to walk into a restaurant or a gym or anywhere, and people are not staring at you like you are somebody from Mars, like you're an alien. So many black Americans have that feeling, and they like that feeling of being a part of the group, of belonging. Now, that's aside from the other problems that they might have. But most black Americans who go over there have been changed in some way by the experience. My point is, though, that I feel like they're justified in being concerned about so many white people running over there trying to become citizens after telling black people to go back. What are they coming over there for? Especially when you consider that 90% of the natural and mineral resources in Africa are controlled by Europeans, white people. So, anyway, let me know what you think about this video. Thank you for listening. Give me a thumbs up and have a good day.